A unique and stylish design emerged in the early 1980s, commonly known as the Bustlebacks. It defined the highest status of motoring from American manufacturers. This book, Those 80s Bustlebacks, takes a look at this fashion trend for the Cadillac Seville, Imperial, and Lincoln Continental. What is a bustle? Bustle has a few definitions and uses that have varied over time. Today, bustle refers to a hurried, excited, and/or energetic movement. For example, the hustle and bustle as associated with a quick-paced regimen or lifestyle. That is perhaps not an appropriate definition related to these cars, as these luxury cars were more about touring than spirited driving. In a former era, a bustle was a type of women's clothing that accentuated the rear with an added pad or frame that caused an outward protrusion. This 1887 advertisement for Langtree shows the bustle's cage-like frame that accentuates the back when worn. It's something you may not notice when looking from the front, but definitely apparent when seen from the side or back. A generation or two later, the word bustle would be applied to automobiles as bustlebacks to describe vehicles with a trunk that appeared to be added onto the back of the car. Initially, trunks were separate pieces placed onto a car's luggage rack hanging on the back of the car. This was a trend that started with luxury cars in the mid-20s. By the 30s, automotive designs included the integration of a trunk in the body sheet metal. The bustleback became a design language on a few cars in the mid-30s. In particular, 36 and 37 were prolific years for the bustleback look for the Chrysler Airflows, Fords, DeSotos, Fords, and Lincolns. Perhaps prominent is an appropriate word to describe the look, but it would take a post-war luxury car that would elevate this appearance as an expression of distinction and prestige. No other make wore it as well or better than Rolls-Royce and Bentley. The bustleback bestows shape and prominence to the rear deck of a car, drawing your eyes to examine the style as much as you would admire the front end and grille. This is an area that often suffered from lack of attention from automotive designers. Here's a diagram showing how different generations of cars crafted the bustleback look. During the 80s, 3 cars would adopt the bustleback look. While the 1980 Cadillac Seville was the first to market, it has been reported that the Imperial design began first. Yet it will be Cadillac that more purely pays homage to the classic style with their interpretation. In particular, Cadillac pays tribute to the Rolls-Royce post-war designs with its introduction of the second-generation Seville in 1980. How do the three 80s designs compare to each other? It's easier to interpret and compare the styles by reducing photographic images to 4 simple lines for each of the 80s bustlebacks. These lines are the rear window, the roof lines, the trunk lines, and the body character lines. Without the distractions of sets, actors, scenery, photographic angles, paint choices, etc., the designer's intent are made more clearly evident. Any enthusiast will recognize the distinctive shapes of each bustleback in the line art. In this view, the 3 bustleback roof lines are compared. The Lincoln Continental C-pillar edge is more upright than the others. The Cadillac Seville's roof line runs all the way to the bumper. The Imperial's line has the steepest angle. Overlapping all 3 designs, the deck lid's height and position relative to the roof is consistent and similar. The belt line under the rear window is also at a similar height. The length of the car has become evident as well. Imperial is the longest of the 3. Those 80s bustlebacks is a comprehensive look at the bustleback designs, compares them to their sister notchback cars, and reveals production numbers, prices, measurements, drivetrains, trim levels, year-by-year changes, unique features, marketing language, and a spotter's guide. For more information about this book or my other books about American cars of the 80s and popular American automotive design trends, such as the personal luxury cars, couture cars, opera windows, and dash lights, visit www.those80scars.com.